Welcome back. It is Faith Friday here on GMA3. All eyes are on Minneapolis ahead of this afternoon's sentencing of former police officer Derek Chauvin. He faces up to 30 years behind bars in the murder of George Floyd. And we look no further than friend of the show, Reverend Angela T. Khabeb, to help us navigate the decision that carries so much weight for people around the world. She joins us now. Reverend, thank you so much for being here. You live right down the street from the epicenter of what many have called a racial reckoning that started last year. You've been with the community through a very tough year. What can you tell us about the people in Minneapolis, what they're feeling ahead of this sentencing?
Well, you know, Janae, it's a very tense time now in the city. We've faced a lot of heartbreak and we're trying to heal, but we have this constant death that we face. Dante Wright, then we've had this shooting of Winston Wright, and then there was the protester who was mowed down in the streets. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, Winston Boogie Smith. It's just been a constant reopening of old wounds.
And so, because you're so close to that community, what does justice look like to you in this case? And do you think that this sentencing could offer some level of racial healing for not only Minneapolis, but for the rest of the country?
You know, the world is watching Minneapolis very closely, and we will learn from the sentencing if Black lives truly do matter. If the sentencing should fit the crime. Look, we know that police officers have an extremely difficult job. And as being a police officer is an honorable profession. They make split-second decisions, life or death decisions. This was not one of them. This was a prolonged, horrific assault on humanity. And Derek Chauvin had plenty of chances to be the hero, and he opted not to, and should be sentenced to the fullest extent beyond for the extenuating circumstances.
And Reverend Angela, you are no stranger to this on our show. Could you please share any words of wisdom or comfort or anything you have for people out there to keep in mind throughout this sentencing?
Well, you know, yesterday I had the privilege of being in the presence of the civil rights icon, James Meredith, and he shared some words of wisdom that the change that we seek is going to come from the religious community here, and that when we think about forgiveness, that we often ask the oppressed people to seek forgiveness, but forgiveness is in the hands of God, and God's mercy endures forever, and God's forgiveness is abundant. And when we seek forgiveness from the oppressed people, it distracts us from God's justice that we seek. And there's this one, if I could just leave you with this one quote from Dr. Mary Hess. She says that there are two ways that we can do racial justice work: imperfectly or not at all. Siblings of the faith, let's move even though it's imperfect.
Reverend Angela, you came with the whole word on this Faith Friday. Thank you so much for sharing that and for joining us today. You have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.